Valentine's Day is coming, so why not make your sweetheart something delicious and beautiful? At the Nordic Ware Factory store, you'll find themed baking pans, bundt mixes, and all the accessories you need to make your Valentine's baking fun. And the recipients feel special. Only at the Nordic Ware Factory store in St. Louis Park.
Winter is one of the sweetest seasons, specifically when it comes to citrus. We're in peak citrus season right now.
We are?
We are.
I did not know that. So why not get the most out of their flavors and use it for dinner, right? So for this week's Monday Night Meal presented by the Nordic Ware Factory store, Rachael Perron from Kowalski's is here with a beef stir fry using oranges.
Ooh,
hello. I didn't know that. We're in peak citrus season.
Yeah, January, February into March is the best time of year to get the best citrus fruit.
It's not too hot down there.
I guess so.
Well, and also we get a lot of citrus from California too, but our citrus is great right now. So if you're an orange lover, like now's the time to go in and get the best oranges there are.
Well, and I guess I also didn't know that I needed to like add some vitamin C to my protein.
To your steak?
Yeah, to my steak.
Well, we think about adding it with like chicken or pork or like maybe some lighter colored proteins, but when you pair it with something like ginger and like the nutty richness of steak, orange is a really great flavor with beef. So we're gonna make a beef and ginger orange stir fry.
Okay, so
beef and ginger orange stir fry.
I like the sound of it. How do we start?
Well, the key with stir fry is always prep. So we need to talk about making sure you're ready before you turn the heat on. I just turned it on. This dish is a 8 to 9 minutes start to finish. So don't think you can be cooking your vegetables and like whisking together your sauce or cooking your beef and chopping your vegetables. You're going to run into a little bit of a time crunch there. So what I've got done here is I've prepared the vegetables. I've got a bell pepper, some white onion. You can use any color pepper, any color onion that you have in the pantry. And then I got a little green onion even chopped up for the garnish, ready to go. I've even pressed my garlic here. It's ready to go. And then chopped up the steak into nice thin slices. So throw it in the freezer for 20 minutes so that's easy to slice really nice and thin. Have it ready to marinate.
Good idea.
This stuff's good to go. We also need to make the marinade in the sauce before we get over here too.
This is such good tips because I'm the type who I'd be like grabbing for bowls while I'm trying to do the meat.
It's called mise en place. It's a culinary term. It means everything in its place. It's from French tradition of culinary, and it just means everything's ready for you, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to first marinate the beef. This is a little bit of tamari, which is gluten-free. It's an alternative to soy sauce. Just a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. These are pantry staples that everybody has in their kitchen. A little bit of black pepper. If you don't like this, you could obviously leave it out, but we've got salt, pepper, sugar, that soy sauce, and then a little bit of cornstarch. Cornstarch in Chinese cooking, there's this thing called velveting, and they use cornstarch in marinades to help the moisture stay in the proteins, makes them nice and tender. So you can do this technique with the cornstarch on chicken, pork, beef. We just gonna put that on the beef and let that sit for about 15 minutes.
And anytime I see cornstarch in one of these recipes, I think, gosh, am I gonna taste it? And the answer is no.
You will not taste it. It's gluten-free. And also the other thing, we're gonna use cornstarch in this sauce here too. It does a double duty in this recipe because cornstarch in the stir-fry sauce is going to give it this beautiful, glistening, kind of glossy look to it, and it's going to give it a really smooth texture. Again,
it surprisingly didn't like thicken up like I thought it was going to.
The marinade won't until you cook it.
Okay.
So until you put it on heat, that cornstarch is going to stay really fluid. So it won't here either when we add all this liquid. I'm going to add orange juice because this is an orange ginger.
Yes.
With a little bit of ground ginger, and also I'm using a little bit of pureed ginger here too, equal parts, because I like the contrast. Here
and then the more ginger the better, let's be honest.
You can put as much as you want in here. I'm using a little bit of orange zest because that's going to really amp up that orange flavor and kind of drive that home. And then the workhorses of any stir fry sauce are things that you should have in your pantry. That's either soy sauce or tamari, and then rice wine vinegar. If you have these two, you can pretty much make a stir-fry sauce with just about anything.
You're ready for whatever
You're ready to go.
Almost
anything. So soy sauce and that rice wine vinegar, I'm going to put about 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and then 2 teaspoons of rice wine vinegar. And this is ready to go, so now we're going to get to cooking. Now we can hit the stove, right? So we've got our beef, which we cooked first for about 3 minutes.
What beef? What is that?
This is a sirloin. You could use a tenderloin, you can use a ribeye, you can use really any beef except for a stew meat. It's going to be tender enough for this. So that's pretty much close to done. About 3 minutes until it's got some good color on the outside and it's almost cooked through. And at home you can do this in one skillet, but because I have 2 here, I've taken the advantage of that, and I put my peppers and onions in a second skillet. This takes about 4 minutes. for these to come to
And how soft do we
where
wanna
we
get
want
those?
them. We want them almost done because there's only going to be about a minute and a half of this cooking once
Okay.
we put everything together. And at that time when you think it's about a minute, minute and a half away, add that garlic.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't want
Yeah,
the
you don't
garlic
want
on
that to,
that
like-
high heat.
Right.
It'll burn, it'll turn dark, it'll be bitter, and it'll just kind of ruin everything. So in that last minute of cooking these vegetables, I want you to put that garlic in there and just swirl it around. Again, once
Beautiful.
you start to smell it, it's ready to go. Now we're going to take that sauce that we whisked together.
Okay.
Take one more time to whisk it together real quick to make sure, because the cornstarch will sometimes settle
Okay.
as it sits. We'll throw that in there, and then we're also going to add our beef right into the same pan.
Ooh, I think about how many
and
people
it's
this
so
will feed.
nice because you slice it so thin that it really was just like done and easy.
And it'll take a minute and a half to 2 minutes here for it to thicken up, for it to get nice and glossy, and for it to cook the beef all the way through. And then
You like
you
you like how we're just like jumping right into it here?
I absolutely.
I mean,
love
it looks
excited.
so good.
The ginger is perfection.
The one thing that I added to your rice there too is a little bit of orange zest and orange juice because again, it's citrus season. I wanted cohesion amongst the rice and the
Amplify
stir fry,
that flavor.
just to bring them together.
Rachel, this is so good. I love the accents of orange. And yes, we are in peak citrus season, so why not use it for your stir fry? So we posted both the orange ginger stir fry and the orange scented rice recipe on TwinCiesLive.com/recipes.